Hello everyone, today I'm here with Amber and we will be talking about genetics and how they work. To start off, there are three main types of genes. There are the recessive genes, the dominant genes, and then you've got the codominant / incomplete dominant genes. All these genes have alleles which require two complete copies of that gene for the full allele. Having one copy for the gene is often called heterozygous, being het for short, or homozygous when you have two copies of the gene, creating the full allele. For example, a recessive gene needs two copies of the same gene to show visually, which means it has a full allele. If you only have one copy of the gene, often called a het, then the animal will still have the gene, but they won't look like they have it. So, if I bred a male, for example, to something like this normal here, they would all end up looking like this normal because they'll only have one copy of the gene, meaning they're only het for it. This is because the male has two copies of the gene, making it visual, so it's guaranteed to pass one of the male alleles to the offspring, making them all 100% het for male. But because they'll all be het, they'll all be looking like this look normal here. She is very beautiful still though. Now, dominant genes. Dominant genes are different from recessive genes because they don't need a full allele to show the look of the gene. Even if you have a single copy of a dominant allele, it will still show in the animal, which is quite different from recessive genes because you need two copies for both to show. However, if you breed an animal with only one copy of the gene, only 50% of the offspring will have the gene rather than all of them when there are two copies of the gene. Dominant genes do not change when their alleles are full, but rather vary from an animal to animal. Okay, now lastly we have the incomplete / codominant genes. This is easiest to understand as like a mix of dominant and recessive genes. If you have one copy of the gene, it's still going to show like dominant genes. However, if you have two copies making the full allele, it will create an extreme version of the gene commonly called a super. An example of this would be breeding a super pastel to a normal. Since the super has two copies, all the babies will have the pastel gene, since the super pastel is always guaranteed to pass off one gene. Breeding two pastels together will result in 50% pastels, 25% super pastels, and also 25% normals. That's just about all for today, so if you have any questions, feel free to drop one down in the comments.